Hiya folks, this is Martin here, and we're going to do this classic Ford Escort RS2000 from the 70s. This one's going to be a custom restoration. We don't know at the moment what the original colour was, but I think we're going to do this one white. Now, I never owned one of these. I owned one of its competitors, which was the Triumph Dolomite Sprint, and the other competitors out there were the Talbot Sunbeam Lotus and also the BMW 2002. So let's get on with this one and see what we can achieve with this custom restoration. Right, well, as you can see, it's a very poor condition, this one. It looks like someone's tipped a tin of paint over it. They probably had to go out painting it, but then just slashed it on there. It's got paint all over the wheels. As you can see there, it's a Matchbox RS2000 made in England, and the wheels, as you can see, have got this terrible paint on them as well. I don't quite know yet if that's going to come off. We're going to put them in brake cleaner, brake fluid, sorry, and we're going to try and get that off. The towing hook, as you can see, is still there. Not a fan of towing hooks on RS2000s. A lot of detail around the lights, the back and the front there. We're going to try and pick that detail out a little bit later on, which is why this is a custom restoration. But first of all, let's get a look inside and take this thing apart. I'm drilling out the rivets on this. This has got 3 rivets, 1 at the front and 2 at the back. The ones at the back are very small. I'm not too sure whether I've got a little drill and a rivet, what I like to use to sort that out. And as you can see, just prying open here. It's a little bit stiff, this one, so I've got to be a little bit careful here. And I'm able to just lever it a little bit. I don't like doing this, but my drill wasn't very sharp, and that was the way that I chose to do it. Now, inside, it looks like it was previously white, although it's hard to tell. And the windscreen or the windshield, back and front, the only way I could get it out was to break the seal with my fingernail. And very delicate, this. You've got to watch these. They're very brittle. And as I say, I'm not too sure whether this is recoverable yet. Bearing in mind, it hasn't got any cracks in it, but it's got layers and layers of paint. And it looks like it's got brown paint on there as well. So not too sure what we're going to find when we strip it down. So I'm thinking it's originally white. I want to do this white. So let's take a little look now and see if we can get these wheels off. These wheels have got the pinch clamps on them. So the only way to get these little wheel axles out is to use a Dremel or something very similar. And just grind away the pinch marks over the axles there, as you can see. And these are an ideal tool to do this with. I don't know really how else you get it out, because they are cast, you can't bend them out. So just a little screwdriver now, just to lever them off, and ping, out they go. Keep your eyes out where they land. And as you can see, I will put these back in, and we'll probably have to put a spot of glue in there or something like that, just to hold the axles in, or something, you know, something very similar. Right, this is the bit I've been waiting for. Let's get this paint off. I don't know what colour we're going to find. We're stripping the top as well as the bottom, so I may leave the bottom clear, I'm not too sure yet, or I might paint it black, depending on how I feel at the time. So this is my power stripper. It's going to have its work cut out here. I'm not too sure what paint this is, and by the looks of it underneath, it's brown. So that's a turn up for the book. I wasn't expecting to see that, although there was signs of brown paint. But as I carried on, underneath, it looks like it's been painted brown, and the underneath was white as we originally thought. So this was an RS2000 white, and we're going to be returning it back to that colour as well. Like The Professionals, a TV show, The Professionals, Bodie and Doyle. Right, there we go. So after a wire brush and a bit of wire wool, I like to put the base on just to make sure that these little posts fit properly, because sometimes when you drill them out, as I've done here, they can flare out at the top. So just file them down just to make sure the base comes on, because you don't want to be struggling once you've painted everything. So it's just something I always do. That's better. There we go, that goes on. That didn't go on before, so I could have struggled with that, and it might have damaged the actual paint. And as you can see, we've got a nice shine on it now. I will paint the base. I'm going to paint the base black, and obviously the top of the car is going to be white. So I'm very pleased with the way that's turned out. And as I said, I've got 2 size rivets on here. The one at the front is one of the bigger ones, which I normally use. And the ones at the back are a lot smaller. And as you can see there, that one, the back one's gone in nicely there. I did blow out a little bit on the back, one of them back posts, but that's not to worry about. And as you can see, I always use the Tamiya white fine primer. I wish I would have had the grey on this instance. And also, don't forget, make sure you do use a respirator with these paints. They're not very good for your lungs. And they've been wiped down with a wet and a panel wipe, so they're nice and clean. And I always start, as you know, off with the underneath surface just to get the edges of the wheel arches and stuff like that. And also I like to leave the colour inside to let people know that this is the colour it's going to be. We saw that the original colour was white underneath from the inside of the car, so there we go. Again, nice easy strokes here. I like to just get a nice shine on that. This is a primer, don't forget, but what I also tend to do is I use a hot air gun and just wave it over the thing so I can coat up within literally minutes. You might want to sort of invest in one of them just to speed your drying time, so to speak. And the same again with the base. I'm painting the base. I'm painting it on the inside as well, just to keep everything uniform. And as I said, same as before, get the bases and get the front and rear bumpers as well. And as you can see, it covers nice, and exactly the same. I used a hot air gun over this, and literally within minutes I was able to paint. And I'm happy with that. So here we go. For the black, I'm just using the normal aerosol paint out of a tin, a rattle can. It's good enough in this case. It is a gloss finish on this one. I won't need to add a gloss to that afterwards. And for the main body, I'm using the X2 white from Tamiya, and that is a solvent acrylic, and I mix it 50-50 with the X20A thinners. This isn't just water, it is an alcohol solvent as well. So as you can see there, I'm just mixing it up now with one of my McDonald's stirrers for the coffee, and just decant that into my spray gun. And like I normally do, I don't think I showed it on camera this time, but I have a little practice spray first on a lid of a tin or anything else, just to make sure that the paint is coming out correctly. And that's the only trouble with white, hard to see when you're painting over a white undercoat, so I should have done it in grey. But as you can see, the off the gun finish there is actually really nice and shiny. No orange peel in that whatsoever, and that is an art, that is, getting it like that. And there we go, that's the black for the base, and there's our white. Okay, so while we're waiting for the paint to dry, I thought I'd attack this windshield. It's been in the brake fluid for a good few hours now, and as you can see, it's not really doing much. I'm having trouble still getting it off with a sharp blade, but I do persevere. And I also put a bit of panel wipe on there as well, and I'm choosing to actually polish it off, I think. And as you can probably see on the tissue there, it is coming up a little bit, but it's not as easy as I thought it was going to be with the brake fluid. Not unless you have to leave it in overnight, for example, for many hours. I'm not too sure, but I'm going to just persevere with this. It is coming off, and I've got to be careful that I don't actually scratch the windshield with the blade. So you've got to be very careful with that. And I'm hoping this polishing technique here actually just heats the paint up enough for it to become a little bit more malleable. There is signs of the clear windscreen coming through, but it is quite tarnished with the yellow. I don't know whether I'm going to be able to get that out, but we'll just see after I've done a bit more. Right, so just going to put these two small rivets in now at the back. I've already done the front one, and all I do is just put a little bit of super glue in the hole and just push it home. As you can see, looks very original, I think, personally. And you can actually drill these out again. They're only soft aluminium, so if you ever do want to take it apart again, it's not a problem at all. I've already done that once before anyway, so I know that for a fact. And I'm sure you'd agree that does look authentic. Looks well in black. And as you can see, I've put some extra detail on that. The spoiler, the rear lights, and also around the front as well. The windscreen did come up still a little bit tinted. I couldn't really do anything with that, but I'm happy with it. So let's remind ourselves where we started off with this car. It was in a right old state. You wouldn't give this a second look. There was paint everywhere, inside and out, and it had extra coats as well. As you know, it was brown underneath the original white. And this is what we was able to do with it. I hope you'd agree that it was a big transformation. The little transfers on the side, the lines, the printer was really not really up to the job, as you can probably see there. Very, very small decals, and as you can see from the original one, we wouldn't have known what the decals were like underneath anyway. But I did manage to clean the wheels up. I didn't paint the centres. I think they look better just in black. Ideally, you could have swapped these wheels out. But as I said about the transfer down the side, very, very fiddly, and the ink wasn't really up to the job. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed this, and I'll see you in the next video. And until then, bye for now.